welcome back for game number 2 of this best of 5. If you missed the first one, you missed a lot of 44-minute banger of a game. IG won in the late game team fights, and we are back. IG's choice of side now in game 2. They choose red this time around. We have switched sides now as Griffin get to first pick Jayce for themselves.
Yeah, on the blue side, Griffin ban away the Gragas and ban away the Renekton as well to allow for a Jayce pick to be a bit safer. At least Renekton, we saw a lot in Korea to answer any of these top players that want to push and get turret plates. That duo no longer available.
Yeah, and I wonder what Invictus Gaming is going to counter with here, is they're very slow with their second set of picks.
Lee Sin already locked here. They know they want this one as a jungle pick for Ning. Gonna play something volatile. You have to imagine the Xayah is just absolutely destroyed Sword up in the top lane. Had help from the team to be sure, but that was the most lopsided matchup of the day. And I figure pushing that a little bit more, turning the knife, I think is a good choice.
Yeah, definitely trying to avoid it from happening to Sword again with the first pick Jayce, I think is important. And we still actually don't know if Griffin has completely abandoned the Garen Yuumi, because that's the big question we have, is are they going to try it again, or are they actually going to switch it up?
And while Sword is their prototypical Jayce player, they've actually played Jayce in 3 roles in solo queue as recently as yesterday. They're very much flexing a 3-way. It won't be going bot lane this time. The Xayah Rakan, which Viper and Lehends have been playing with a plum at this tournament, is locked in. And it seems like the tournament AD carry meta is going to become a bit more standard.
All right, back to the expected bottom laners here. I appreciate Griffin trying with the Garen pick themselves. They knew, of course, a bot lane pick was available. The Kog'Maw could have come back right away, or even the Vayne that they banned around last time. So, okay, back to the very expected bottom lane here. No surprise to see these 2 champions come through. And wait to see what twists come through later on in this draft.
Yeah, IG sees an opportunity to try and pinch Tarzan's champion pool because they've taken away Lee Sin. Gragas was pre-banned, Qiyana's gone, Elise is gone. And I also wouldn't be too surprised to see Chovy go with something like a Galio in the mid lane, but we'll have to see.
But Chovy does like to play the Aurelia and the AD class where possible, so I don't mind at least Talia-style bans to come out here from the side of IG. When it came to the blind pick Jayce, which could very much be top, I did think of Vladimir as probably where the Xayah would go, as kind of a game-breaking champion rather than a laning advantage for the Vladimir by any means. So that is going to be compositionally banned here again. So will it just be the double AP jungle bans? It will not. It's going to be the Rek'Sai, so an early pathing jungler also knocked out.
Yeah, a lot of the cream of the crop gone. Gragas banned away, Elise banned away, Rek'Sai banned, and Lee Sin taken. We certainly need a jungler still for Griffin. And they have left essentially Rookie to find his counter matchup without any further bans towards that one. And now with a support needed as well as a top laner, they're looking at the engage options between Nautilus and Leona. Those are the primary ones you play against Rakan. Nautilus will be the lock-in for Baolan.
Couldn't get quite more meta with the bottom lane picks so far, and you can see they're definitely saving the Shy's counter for last.
Yeah, other teams would perhaps counter pick support to get the 2v2 advantage, RNG maybe, but in this game, going to be much more the standard. Will be Galio for Chovy, and look at this, going to be the Galio Jarvan that we've already saw come out of TL earlier this tournament. Very reliable engage duo. In fact, this is about as standard a draft as Griffin. Very much a far point removed from game number 1 draft.
Yep, go completely different in game 1, pop back in game 2, and the Jayce actually going up against the Kayle from the Shy.
All right, you answered, Papa Smith. You said, hey, do we want a game-breaking champion or do we want a lane-dominant champion? The Kayle is more of a game takeover champ. The laning phase can go well. I don't expect the Shy to win it, but if he gets the kind of farm he did in the Yasuo game, this Kayle's taken over.
Do expect it to be Kayle top. I started wondering about LeBlanc tops that have come out in fits and spurts in the past, especially in China, but unlikely.
We've seen something very similar to this matchup already out of Sword. It was against Wonder's Kayle, however. What was interesting to me about that matchup is the CS was actually very close between those two, all the way up until the mid game, and it was the map that broke around the Kayle that ended up stopping him. So I can definitely understand why the Shy would go something like Kayle into Sword's Jayce, because he thinks he's going to be able to just get to his strong point and then win.
And I think what you're saying there is the nameplates are on from the side of the Shy. He looks at his opponent and says, this is a player who domestically struggled in skill matchups against the best Korean tops. I'm the best Korean top, but I'm just over in China. I'm the Shy. So I think he is confident, but it's going to be on Sword to prove him wrong.
Well, Sword on his most cookable champion by far. Jayce easily his most played by a mile. Tarzan pushed down to the Jarvan, and I'm excited what can happen now that we've got Viper with a Xayah in his hands to take over the game. We can see his beautiful arena of Spanish viewers, and we'll see what kind of show these players can put on for us now. The second game here, IG defending their World Championship title. Griffin hoping they can win their second best of 5 in as many years since joining the LCK. We'll see if they can do that here. We are onto the Rift here for game number 2 as the base gates drop and we can do battle.
And always such a pivotal game in these best of 5 series, how disastrous it can be to fall down 0-2 or how advantageous it can be for a team like IG who had multiple sweeps throughout their Worlds run last year, 3-0ing the semifinals and the finals, looking to kind of stomp down on Griffin in this game too.
You really feel like if it goes down to 0-2 from a Griffin side, not this again might be a thought in their minds, rather than competing earnestly for the victory here. Level 1s for now. Much more of a 5-point defense coming out from the side of IG, understandably, just wanting to stop there from being vertical jungling if possible and allow the Kayle as even a laning phase as she can get.
Well, minions spawning up, and we can see now as everyone goes to their various lanes. Klepto Kayle up there, Klepto LeBlanc. Press the attack is a little bit less common on, sorry, I'm blanking on Kai'Sa's name, there we go, but will be fun to watch all the same.
So my big question this game is, in my head, Jayce runs at Kayle, should be priority lane for the Jayce early, should have a lot more laning tools there, even though, like you mentioned, Jack, there is a counterpoint in terms of World's performance, and also bot lane. You know, Rakan does Rakan things, and Nautilus, Kai'Sa will be largely gritting their teeth early, outside of maybe a crazy burst at level 2. The big unknown variable, the jungler, who traditionally is that coming from Fog. Jarvan has the most creative pathing opportunities, hits level 2 and can kind of go anywhere off one camp. Meanwhile, Lee Sin normally needs more of a head of steam and some time. Therefore, can Tarzan actually break open one of these potential swingy lanes or just go top and dunk down on the Shy and get the flash down early?
Of course, it is electrocute on his sword. Already that first trade happened right there. Lands both Qs and autos once, and the Shy is chunked down. Has to chug through 2 of the corrupting potion stacks already. Bottom lane kind of walking back and forth, waiting for the engages to happen. Just kind of going for stacks right now. Very intrigued to see how the eventual LeBlanc Galio matchup plays off, because of course you can taunt into backwards E and land a very big CC combo and make life easy there. Baolan doesn't go for the Q, doesn't go for too much down there. Of course it's on cooldown, tried a second ago.
I think for the most part the Galio matchup against LeBlanc just looks to neutralize LeBlanc, which is why I really like Rookie's Kleptomancy, because he says, okay, if you're going to neutralize me, at least I'm going to get rich off of it. And then kind of hit the 2-item power point where I'll then look to roam. I think that's going to be Rookie's strategy here. So let's track the CS in these solo lanes, because we know it was very favorable for the Shy in game 1, and Rookie has been a dominant laner throughout the group stage. Would look to try and dominate in this game. Otherwise, Chovy will neutralize, leave the lane, and try and pull off Jarvan Galio combos on other parts of the map.
Yeah, the math checks out on what you're saying there. Very unlikely for Teleport LeBlanc to get any kills on Galio. Junglers might meet here. Ning has the information advantage.
Does stay away from the sweeper, so no outline spotted. Ning still around. Chovy not yet back to the lane.
He's hoping that Tarzan uses cooldowns, and actually, we're going to see a fight in the river.
Fight into the bottom river, 4-on-4 right away. Run of this one, the taunt's going to land. Here's the knock-up. They're going to knock down JackeyLove, and the kill crucially goes over to Viper. A root lands from Rookie, but Baolan has to run away. The re-engage available in a few seconds. Not going to go for any more kills, but the scuttle and the kill goes to Griffin.
The Griffin early game doesn't need a user manual. You know how much AoE hard crowd control they have. They find their man pre-flashed by JackeyLove, and from there Galio easily mopping it up.
And I think just an odd play by IG right there. They didn't have mid lane priority. They didn't really have bot lane priority, but clearly someone said, hey, help me with Scuttle Crab. Let's go for it. And Griffin was just way faster to that play.
I think it was one of those calls where Ning said, they didn't see me, we can watch them. He had the information advantage.
Lehends used flash, though.
And he's ignited right now, so Ning could find his way in. Still has flash, can land the Q on the Viper. That's going to be some decent damage with the slow, but there's not really a re-engage available. Poke blocked by Viper helps keep Lehends alive, and that gank doesn't do very much except drop CS under the turret.
Those summoners out of Lehends, who is wearing the heal in this lane. As we can see, in fact, double defensive summoner spells. It's actually heal barrier being brought back Not going to play through bot lane, apparently, Griffin, from those summoners. As here is that bot side play. Moment Chovy hit the taunt, you knew that JackeyLove was going down.
And getting the flash early was what ended up winning that fight for Griffin, knowing that JackeyLove was a level 3 flashless Xayah, kind of allowed them to very easily pick their target.
Definitely interesting choice you mentioned, Baba Smithy, the fact that it's heal on Lehends and a barrier on Viper, really prioritizing keeping him alive against the assassination potential of, say, a LeBlanc or an ult out of the Nautilus. I do want to point out how bad top lane is going for the Shy. Well played by Sword. That's a good taunt as well. But Sword with a 15 CS lead, first force an early recall out of the Shy. This is a great return to form for the Griffin top laner.
Have to again point out the electrocute Jayce
Yep.
instead of a phase rush Jayce. So definitely going for stronger trades in lieu of a little bit of safety and potentially late game chase down damage. Will be better early on in the lane as he's been able to get some good poke down on the Shy.
So don't have a lot of tools as Kayle to deal with Jayce in the early game, to transform all the abilities and the inferior jungle 2v2 as well. See how Ning problem solves himself out of the scenario he's in. Might just end up being a power farming to 6 at this point, because definitely can't swing top lane.
But once he's 6, I think Kayle wins many 2v2s as far as when people arrive. Just the power of the ultimate to be able to negate the other team's burst and then still fight back. I've seen a lot of Kayles be down 15 CS early and then win a 2v2 at level 6.
And absolutely that's what the ult is set up for, but then you start being swayed by heal barrier bot lane, Galio ultimate. You have to be really on point with cooldowns here, but on paper, speaking of paper.
Cooldown usage here as Rookie's taking some damage, hoping to kite away. Does jump and has to bring the ult forward as well.
Wow.
Low health bars. Red Smite adds plenty of damage there from Tarzan.
Yeah, and that's going to really help out Chovy in this lane, especially at this level 6 point with no teleport. Rookie's going to be completely out of corrupting potions. Chovy is full. So at this point, Rookie can't very safely farm Kleptomancy, and it will give Chovy the ability to roam and influence other lanes.
And so there's multiple fires where Kayle's trying to deal with Jayce. Mid lane is also going the way of Galio temporarily, and that's the perfect time to walk down onto the Infernal Drake that controlled the river ever since the kill on JackeyLove, and this should be uncontested 2 games in a row to Griffin.
Very early Infernal, great stuff. They are certainly looking pretty solid here. Unlike the last game where they got the early kills, but the lanes weren't good enough. The gold lead was still with IG. This time around, the lanes are great. You've got CS leads in most of them, and even in the jungle as well, plus the Drake, plus everything else. This is a great early game for Griffin.
And it's on Griffin to actually continue to accelerate this because they are up against double Kleptomancy solo lanes and a Cole Xayah. So IG have very clearly said that they're just going to wait a little bit and hope that Griffin can't punish them too hard.
Looking to punish down here, but easily walked away from. Lehends is just fine. Aftershock as well on this Rakan. We do see Guardian sometimes this champion, right? If you want to support your backline this time around. If he lands the knocker for the charm, he's going to get the armor MR on himself. And now Ning wants top side, spotted by a ward, but level 6 on both the jungler and the top. Galio heading over, though. That's the big one. Chovy could match this, and Ning decides to not fight.
Yeah, one of the few champions who can help his top lane from mid. Just going invisible is enough to stop Ning from doing anything. Ning isn't even willing to stick around for the control ward kill.
Yeah, the second one.
It took a lot of time for LeBlanc to push in the minion wave, so understood that given the amount of time required for the right setup, it's unlikely to pick up a kill. Tarzan himself, straight down bot side.
Oh, a big knockup down there. JackeyLove dead yet again. They're going for number 2 as Baolan's forced one away. Anchor onto the wall, but they're still chasing. He will just walk away, but a second plate taken down in this bottom lane. Griffin cracking open this source of gold.
Didn't spot if JackeyLove's flash was up or not, but it is still available after the play. Very decisive lane gank coming through from bot side. Gets another lead onto the Xayah, who's kind of the crown jewel of this IG comp.
And those are the types of plays we saw against Griffin in their second, or for Griffin in their second round robin. Just incredibly clean play. See Ning topside. Immediately know, play as possible bot side. Get gold onto your carry. Now it's just a matter of how clean can they stay, because as we saw in game 1, IG can still bring these games back with any big play.
And you're reading the Kleptomancy cull as, you know, a waving of a white flag. And that's another reason that suddenly there's only 2 turret plates available. Bot side, that they're happier to go for turret dives here because they know that IG, their first thought is a half step back, not a half step forward.
I do want to expectation set the Cole buy, though, in a certain case, because he did start Doran's Blade. He died with 500 gold.
Sure.
He said, I can either go Longsword and AFK for a while or get a Cole and have more regen in my lane. It's actually a better laning item than anything else he could buy, but this dive, just so good.
knock up into knock up. And doesn't look like the flash was necessarily up, although sometimes this can be unreliable. He will definitely have it for the next one.
Well played, well played. 1,100 gold lead to Griffin right now. Certainly looking like they don't have any signs of slowing down. The Essence Reaver already now completed for Viper. That's a great power spike, good stats out of that one. A ton of wave clear, plenty of damage output there. Mountain Drake spawns in 2 minutes. We'll probably see that one die nearly the time it spawns as well.
But it's fun that, honestly, what we're laying out for Griffin to do in this game too is not that different from game number 1 in that, okay, it's not the scaling here so much as you have those opportunities with double Klepto and the Kayle top lane to take whatever you go to first, just be proactive and snowball the game. So far, they've been very much on the front foot. They've got a Warrior Jarvan as well, which only makes their one-item purchases stronger. So I think this is really about how much can you really cram here from this early game buffet on the side of Griffin. Otherwise, don't be surprised if IG bounce back at 2 items.
Tarzan definitely trying to play more like an assassin. The Galio doesn't give damage reduction anymore, so it's not as safe as it used to be, but they're clearly looking to play heavily around this bottom side and break that turret. And so far, it would be on IG to try and go somewhere else to get it back. And since they're losing bot lane, Ning doesn't want to go into a losing duel. That's how the game actually breaks open. You can't really gank a Galio. So he ends up spending a lot of time in this top lane, and I have to credit Sword for having good vision control and not falling prey to any ganks.
Why I don't feel good about early Lee Sin, late Kayle is they just really have so little they can do together for the majority of the laning phase. You need this fantasy state where Kayle has pushed up and you're threatening a dive with the Lee Sin, which the moment Galio is thrown in is also unreliable. So because of that, the topside plays actually suit Griffin to a T, unless the Herald can actually be tamed by the side of IG.
This is really big because IG's here first, but Griffin doesn't want necessarily to give up the Rift Herald. It would be a time for IG to win a fight if Griffin tries to contest the river without their AD carry and support.
Recall's coming through, and you can see Viper and Lehends both heading their way over, so Griffin would be able to contest in about 20 seconds, but that's too long to take. Ning's able to grab that one, and 2 minutes to go till the plates drop means they can donate 300 gold to one of those solo lanes.
Actually very important that IG took down that Rift Herald. Otherwise, we could have seen a 3-turret sweep for IG. There's still about 2 minutes left for Viper and Lehends to make an aggressive play, and then they could have used the Rift Herald mid. So very smart of IG to run for the Rift Herald there, knowing the bot turret was going to die anyway.
And honestly, not a lot for Griffin's duo lane to do bot side. There was no objectives to take with still not respawning Mountain Drake and the turret basically already dead, so because of that, they end up matching. They don't get anything, but they're onto this turret.
Might want to dive.
Griffin could have all 5. The Galio's walked up now already, all the way up the river, was holding the ultimate, doesn't need to do it, so instead the summon comes down to the mid lane. I think that's a good ad-lib there by IG as the plates were dropping up to the top side. Ning will actually share in some of this gold, wants some for himself. Plate number 1 drops, there's 2 and 3 going down, so 480 gold picked up there. That roam let a lot get cash back in for IG.
Very Ning-like play there, making sure he sticks around for the turret gold when they have the LeBlanc that needs to be able to assassinate the Xayah later on in the game, but that's what you get with Ning.
And look how afraid JackeyLove has to be. They already seeded bot lane turret. That was 5 plates there. Top lane lost 4 now as well as the push continues. They're going to get a very, very rich Viper, but there is at least a counterpunch. IG continually finding something else to do on the map. Last time it was Herald, this time it's Mountain Drake. It might pay off later, but there is so much money on this Griffin bottom lane.
And yet, I still want to reward IG in a position where they were largely on the back foot for being the first team to Herald, for getting an objective against the flow of the game, and getting the Mountain Drake as well. TP onto the minions here. Baolan lining it up.
3 versus 1. They don't land the Q. He was hoping that Sword would have juked backwards, but he doesn't do that. 2 plates down to the bottom side, but now Lehends is here as well. This is going to be a bit harder to fight for. A bit of poke out of the Shy. No, he's not going to get a gauge on just yet. Wave clear safe enough. Sword burns TP, but there's nothing to fight over, so pretty good use of the cooldown. Pretty
Greedy move there by Sword, actually. Not necessarily the most risk-averse play. He was banking on the fact that IG didn't know where Tarzan was, hopefully. Because if it's just the Jayce with the Kayle ultimate, the Nautilus, and the Lee Sin, that's enough to basically get fatal kill onto anyone they decide to go on. But because of the unknowns, IG holds off.
And now it also means they're down a teleport for when the map plays with Galio ultimate and Jarvan engage are really the only way Griffin can function now that a lot of the easy objectives outside of mid lane outer turret have already been taken down. So they don't get anything from that TP bot side, barring maybe saving 1 plate. It's unlikely there's going to be enough time for the entire turret to go down. Now Griffin actually have to piece together all their pieces and have the enemy come to them. Otherwise, IG have more map resources.
Well, plenty of damage down to the mid lane. TP burned as well to try to keep that one alive, so leave that one's answered. Lehends wants to go for the dive, goes in for it, but Rookie's out to the back. Still the turret goes down, and yes, they will find one kill. Lehends drops, but the re-engage is pretty good. A 1-for-1 so far as JackeyLove's already down. Galio will rejoin the fight, and he saves Tarzan! What a fight from Griffin!
How is Tarzan still alive after that? It looked like he died about 4 different times in that fight, and that was just a go button from Griffin, seeing it teleport, engaging as they're going to focus the turret. Very close to actually going awry for them, since Xayah was split pushing the bottom side while that happened, but they win the fight 2-for-1, get the turret, and all the gold goes on to Viper.
The eulogy was written for Tarzan. It was being voiced by the priest, but unfortunately it's because everyone assumed he was dead and left him to his own devices, and from there the Galio ult does register after the stun, means that Nautilus misses his last order.
Looked like Tarzan also interrupted an auto by EQing through him to then flash away, so quite a good escape towards the end.
Does mean the gold lead extends a little bit. All 3 outer turrets are down, and suddenly, yes, Kayle has isolated out Sword and now is taking much more stable trades in the side lane, but map control is severely on the side of Griffin.
Might see us a tower dive right here. Sword down to 2/3 HP. The Xayah has a level lead despite how much of his lanes has been kind of forced to be given away. No dive though. It's Ning just sitting in the brush. Gonna let that one happen. Ward goes down, but doesn't feel safe to knock down the control ward, so the Xayah got to play defensively back here. No one's actually in that river. No one's in that jungle. He actually would have been safe to kill it, but you don't know that. Takes a safe play to say, you know, if Tarzan's here, it's bad news, so loses his ward.
And I also feel like when Griffin is on, not only do they have low deaths, but they also have Viper doing extremely well. The day, basically their day 2 of groups, or their final day of groups, Viper had an incredible day. 19-0-26 in their 4 games that they played in that one day. One of the best days of Worlds we've basically ever seen, and he's going to need to continue to play that way in this game, because yes, Griffin has a 3,000 gold lead, but with all of the gold being on Viper, he can't get picked at the start of a fight.
His biggest strength as a player is early to mid-game, as Chovy roams around for a potential dive here, trying to threaten away. He does get caught in those late-game fights a bit like JackeyLove, so there is some risk there, Jack.
A lot of damage on this turret, though. IG unwilling to defend it, so Griffin continued to wrest more of the map, and they have as many turret kills as champion kills. That's pretty trademark IG as far as grabbing everything without having to fight the enemy champions to do so. Red buff's going to go over to them as well. Viper claims that one on top. Highest CS in the game is indeed this Xayah. Everything revolving around him.
Honestly, Xayah right now out-damages anyone, often 2 people in a standing trade. It's under very little threat. It's very transparent when the Featherstorm needs to be used against a comp like this, as Griffin try to cut the minion wave and just get this in a turret.
And turret number 5 comes through. No one is here to stop them. They just grab hundreds and hundreds of gold every single time.
And they know the Xayah is pushing bottom lane. They're actually trying to force maybe an inhibitor turret.
A lot of damage on a Rookie. Not sure IG can easily fight this. Demolish not quite used. A little bit afraid right there. No taunt's going to land. That could be the go signal with that on cooldown, but it's enough for wave clear, nothing more.
It's really hard to accelerate the game between 16 and 20 minutes. That's when they had the 3rd outer turret down, and yet they found 2 inner turrets. They were able to get a speck of damage onto an inhibitor turret. They're trying to find ways to increase the pace before Baron warps the map.
And this Mountain Dragon is actually very important, because with Griffin's lead, they're going to be able to need to threaten a fast Baron, and they spent about an extra 10 seconds getting Xayah to go back to base to get damage on that and then reset late. So essentially, IG was able to run for the Mountain Drake first, and I think they have a good chance of getting this.
Unless they want to go for the steal, they're going to spot the ward's going to push on in. There's his Smite coming through, but in comes Jarvan's. Got to be careful. Easily hops back to the Xayah. That stays alive. But Double Mountain does not mean anything when you're the losing team. You can't reach a turret or a Baron to kill it. So it's kind of infernal to blank right now.
I think the Mountain Drake denial, though, is very important from IG, and that's a fairly rare macro mistake by Griffin.
To be clear, they baited themselves into hitting the inhibitor turret, which they have a very low chance to actually kill.
Yeah.
Returning to the inhibitor turret is very hard because you have to get control over the enemy red side jungle and push a minion wave. So resetting getting Mountain would have been stronger, as Chovy might be caught.
Already trying a play right there.
Wow.
Taunted, but able to walk away. Almost gets that kick, but the flash out of Chovy gets him out of range. Ning actually goes up a cooldown because of it.
Chovy was definitely caught out of position there, but knowing when to proto belt and also when to flash, pretty much saves his life. Ning was going to get that kick to kill him, and that would have been a death timer that actually leads into a Baron timing. So very important Chovy didn't die there.
And IG are in this weird spot where they have more Drakes than the enemy, but their Drakes, they will find it very hard to use at this current state of the game where they don't have map control. Very unlikely they'll be able to walk up and sneak down a Baron because they're just finding it hard to push up their waves with the fact that they haven't gotten all of the turrets down. In fact, they've got no turrets down yet. Do Invictus Gaming in this game. So while Mountain Drake, if you're ahead, is such a big thing to close a game, from this far behind, it's honestly 2 Mountain Drakes denied more than 2 Mountain Drakes in hand.
Well, we are into this game state right now where Griffin still hold the lead. 3,500 gold ahead. Rookie finding some farm in the side lane. You can look at who's getting the farm, and it's not really the Shy here. He's been spending some time split pushing. He's level 12, which is all right, but less than Rookie, less than JackeyLove. No Nash's Tooth done just yet, waiting for the 800 gold to combine that one. So not really an online Kayle yet.
And because of all the stuff we've talked about, of Griffin having all the kills on Viper, of IG having the 2 Drakes that don't necessarily help them now, but could theoretically help them later, IG really needs a big fight around Baron. They really need to find some type of way to pick Viper, not have a clean 5v5, because if they get that, they could potentially slingshot to leading. It's just so hard for them to actually get that moment based on the current state of the game.
And they just have to find a way to even ward the Baron in a way that sticks, let alone actually get the sort of fight they're looking for. So that's why so much second guessing. Well, through all of this, the Shy and his teleport has taken a bot lane turret. He's going to keep pushing.
Yeah, IG is in a decent position here as far as the Shy being unanswered on the side and Griffin not immediately starting the Baron. They're not willing to immediately start this Baron and go for 50-50 because they didn't clean enough vision out. Now they're moving towards it and the Shy has to respect it.
And now there's a chance that 3 people are doing it right now. You can see that Chovy and Lehends just trying to zone people away, and this is going down slowly but surely. Finally, a blue trigger gets used to spot that it's happening, and now IG has to get themselves across the map right now. The Shy recalls, walks his way over, the vision is yet again gone, and I think it's still taking damage. The poke comes across. IG does not look into the pit. At what point does it die? They still don't know what's going on. Just barely they managed to just have the metal to pull Griffin out of the pit.
That denied Mountain Drake really paying off for IG right now because that Baron would have been way closer to fatal.
Oh, almost knocking down Ning, and the dunk does do it. It's a 5v4 now, and Baolan has a flash away. Tarzan can be found again. It's a 1-for-1. That means it's a 4v3 on the map, though. Anchors come in. They're not going to find Viper. Viper could do so much. Here comes the charm. Kayle ults on top, and it is a single kill. But can you stop the rest of the squad? JackeyLove safe in the back lines. Looking for Lehends, looking for Chovy. Can he do it all by himself? I don't think it's possible. Viper is to get those kills, but JackeyLove, I mean, there are such low health bars.
He has flash. You'd be so tempted to try and make the superhero play, but he probably did enough to save the team Baron by just staying alive.
He knows what it looks like. He did it last year against KT Rolster in the quarterfinals with a big outplay of his own in Game 5. He holds his tongue. He knows the game is not lost from that play. But this is Griffin getting in there. The slam dunk to begin. And then Viper's early game lead really being felt.
But a really early ultimate actually by Viper's Xayah, which gives IG the confidence to go back in. Kayle ult onto JackeyLove keeps him alive just long enough. You can see nearly actually taking out Viper on the side. Still though, because Griffin got the kill essentially before the fight started, they are able to end the fight in the lead.
Really small margins. 4-stack passive was available on the Galio. 1 auto would have popped it and maybe would have been enough to kill Chovy right there. Gotta credit JackeyLove ulting in to get 2 of the Kayle bomb hits to come through. That was pretty nice, but we're on a 6-kill Xayah now. Viper, 100% kill participation, 0 deaths, 3 completed items. This Xayah will continue to absolutely slaughter. Used the stopwatch last fight, sold it back. Good use though, kept him alive. And now we go back onto the map right here with Griffin still in the lead.
And stopwatch
That's
is
a
down
kill.
across. Oh, that is big.
Support gone. Engage tools missing. Ning's gonna try. Kicks back 1. They go for the hard engage. They cannot get Viper, but finally goes down. The Shy ults on top of himself, but still knocked up in the air. They will trade him back, but a trade comes in for Rookie. This is a 3v3. This is winnable. Rookie's healthy, but not Ning. Ning's gonna drop out of this one. So 2 alive versus 3, but again, it will delay Baron, but the gold, it goes towards Griffin here.
The alley-oop takes down Viper at the start. They're just within fine margins through that as well. Jayce not able to get the assassination on the back line, so ends up being even after the early pick was free on Baolan.
For as super powered as Viper is in this game with the 7 kills and the most CS in the game, when he's taken that type of damage at the start of the fight, you know it's winnable for IG. The Shy is 2 to 3 levels away from being level 16. JackeyLove still hasn't even transformed his Manamune and is having large impacts in these fights.
Now, of course, Baolan dies instantly. That's the reality of being a support too far up.
But Ning.
It's all about Viper and Ning. Over the wall, the kick into the alley-oop, some volleyball stuff onto Viper. The moment he goes down, things were a lot more even, and even Sword kited out on the top side. And like I was mentioning before, this is the one area of the game where Viper has been routinely questioned by the community, is the late game team fights. He is prone to being caught, even with a massive lead.
And I was really curious who got the shutdown kill on the Viper. It went to the Shy on Kayle. Should have been about 1,000 gold for that one. So he's slingshot back into the game. Rage Blade's halfway done. Lehends tries to zone the squad. And they're going to keep Baron aggro. They're still putting this one down. Rookie waiting in the wings.
They got to be careful they don't take too much damage, and IG could find a fight. They might go for a 50-50.
They're going to hook in, going to ult to buy some time. They're knocking away the Lee Sin in the pit. They know what the health bar is. Lehends so low, he's burning down. And Rookie with the Q finds that first kill. Chovy's inside the pit, forced away. Ning going to jump back to his squad. 4K health. The Shy in the back line. They set up for 3 kills out of LeBlanc. The Baron does fully heal. It's back up, but who's going to stop them now? 4 dead for Griffin, and somehow Invictus Gaming find the team fight that turns the game back around.
That might just be the series-winning fight if they can take momentum through from that one. You could see Griffin was frustrated not being able to get the fight. They pushed too far, and IG was ready for it.
They were so far ahead so early, but the Baron capture has eluded them multiple times. Feels like we might be tracing it back to that second Mountain Drake surrender. Get the replay starting out here. Again, it's kind of akin to the first game around the Rift Tower where they're playing around with health bars. The engage tools are used suboptimally. And watch for the dive bomb self-ult from the Shy towards the end.
Yeah, how many Kales do you think do that play? And then he actually lives through all of that chaos as the rest of the team follows up. What a monster fight from the Shy.
The Shy being better than Sword was definitely a potential win condition for IG in this series, but to do it in team fights with team fight execution, not be about lane, how much of that 2,300 damage was the self-ult?
Most of it was that self-ult. I think hit 3 targets. The spell should be doing about 500 damage around this point in the game, maybe a bit more. Either way, certainly a really big deal. And now with Baron on, the gold lead is 1,400 to Invictus Gaming for pretty much the first time all game. And what can they do with it? Last time around, we saw IG get picked off so many times one by one. Griffin has to pull that back now themselves.
And I want to credit IG for weathering the storm in this game. They were down Infernal Drake, they were down early turret plates, they were down against a very fed Xayah. And when this IG team is at their worst, it's about them not being able to play macro, not being able to have patience. But they've actually had the patience in this game to wait for their opportunity,
Sword's
and now
so
they've
dead.
found it.
He spotted now.
Sword's going to try to go in for the Shy, going to be slowed down, but the 1v1 is pretty freaking easy. Galio over the top, though they might find him, has to self-ult, but I'm not sure there's a way out. You've got Baolan caught off now as well. That's going to be 2 for 0. The re-engage for JackeyLove does answer a single kill. Rookie on the top, but he's taunted. He takes so much damage, barely walks away. 3v4 and IG are willing to fight. JackeyLove cannot quite knock down Chovy, but it's so very close. Instead, they will probably claim this turret. Down a kill, they will still get the objective.
As you mentioned, the kills go towards Griffin, but the pressure still goes towards IG. A bit of an odd sequence of events. It felt like they might just try to burst out Sword. That's what Shy was thinking. He basically did on his own, but then the rest of Griffin kind of arrived in the back, and we got 2 fights at once here.
Yeah, we assumed Ning was springing the trap, but I'm not sure if the vision toggle just didn't work for him there, but he's waiting as a lot of this play begins. Absolutely melting through Sword's health bar to begin, but then it's much more of a disrupted skirmish. I believe Viper actually fizzled out the Nautilus ultimate by flashing, and the amount of distance between him and Nautilus means it never actually affects.
Viper has such a difficult job in these fights. Has his barrier, but not his flasher, his ultimate, so let's look for IG to continue applying pressure.
Barrier, Hex Drinker, QSS. Baron's timing out right now. You can see the game state still. 3,000 gold puts IG ahead. Third Mountain Drake spawns in 10 seconds. You have to expect that's the likely play here as they knock down wards in the southern jungle. Rookie does more of the same. Drake's going to be alive. That should be a formality here.
Triple Mountain.
Triple Mountain means that if the map state can't be reset to show what we saw earlier in this game, it's trivial for a Xayah to delete either the Elder Dragon or the Baron when it respawns. So Griffin can't just go for a base defense when they're going to be surrendering kind of 15, 10-second massive objectives. They just won't be able to get out of their base to contest. So the next moments are so important.
And I think no one can match the Xayah in a side lane. Level 17 Kayle with Triple Mountain. So we were in a similar situation in game 1, and IG ended up fumbling a little bit while still winning the game. So right now, I feel like for IG, if the Xayah plants himself in a side lane and the other 4 people in IG kind of just exist, they can wait and respond to what Griffin does. What they can't do is have the Xayah in a side lane while the other 4 people on IG let themselves get engaged on. So if IG plays clean here, they have quite an edge.
But these scenarios with the TP disadvantage are where they very often have fumbled in the 2019 season, and specifically at the 2019 World Championships. So having all your lanes prepped, standing respectfully far away from Jarvan, Galio, Rakan, it's not a trivial skill, and it's not something they excel in. Maybe that's why we see the Xayah grouped, because right now, he's not leaving anything to chance.
More items on the Kayle. Chovy slowed down a little bit. Pretty much good damage coming across. Rookie not going to stay for the rest of the chain. And Baron spawns in 1 minute. Top river is all that matters for IG right now.
Yeah, so the Baron's going to spawn at about 32:04. If they're all there, 32:08 is when it can die. It's so fast.
I know, I'm with you.
It's an Infinity Edge Rageblade Xayah and a level 16 Kayle. If they're just there when the Baron spawns, Griffin might not even have an opportunity to contest.
We'll definitely have the stopwatch going for that one if they actually get a true attempt at it. But
doesn't look like they're set for it, though, because it's actually Griffin who's getting really strong mid-priority and doing good to make it so IG can never get 5 in the pit, because as soon as IG does, they can just kill the Baron.
So it's up to Rookie to see what's going on. You can see him with the Banshee's Veil on, jumps over the wall, tries to figure out what is happening here. Who can I flank? What can I scout out? As mid is getting fought for back and forth. IGF4 on that side. And Rookie gonna look for Sword, misses the chain though. And that builds some space. Into the front line goes Ning. Stopwatch using a lot of spaces there. And Tarzan's gone to the start. It's Sword next up, but a Guardian Angel goes down. Lehends has to run. Galio comes over the top, doesn't turn it around. It's a 1-for-0. Viper is alive, but just gets completely shut down. The flash to chase. JackeyLove knocks down the 4th. IG win another fight.
The dive bombers are there from IG. Is it Rookie with the Mimic Distortion? Is it just JackeyLove with a Kayle ultimate? If the Kayle herself is ordering you, you know exactly how long you're going to survive.
And this is what Kayle can look like in late game team fights. The Xayah is pushing this champ to the absolute limits. I mean, we saw Rookie actually not even get the original flank over the start of it, but the rest, the Xayah Kayle combo from IG was just devastating towards Griffin.
And these are 2019 front lines. People in your face that blow you up. It doesn't matter about their tankiness because you need to get the hell out. Can't do that fast enough on the side of Griffin. And all the gold being centered onto the AD carry who just hasn't got it going the last few minutes means that from multiple different directions, people's health bars are being deleted.
Yeah, I watched the Xayah there. He just walked at Viper, didn't take any damage, self-ulted himself. A Jarvan just happens into him. Then even after stopwatch, puts a ton of damage into Xayah before Jackie could finish. So by presenting such a massive threat, the Xayah is just opening up so much space for JackeyLove, which is beautiful to watch.
The funny thing is that while the invulnerability gets longer on this the Kayle ultimate, the disarm, where you can't auto-attack, is actually fixed. So as it gets longer, you do get chances where you don't take damage, and the enemy sure as hell does.
Been pretty scary. Still downing kills, doesn't matter. Invictus Gaming, and actually a pretty bloody game. 29 kills in 34 minutes. But they've gotten their second Baron now, and the late game team fights are going their way. Some scouting for JackeyLove. They see Chovy. Viper trying to wave clear, has very little left to buy, just the Mercurial Scimitar, and that ult is gonna be fizzled out by her ulti now as well. That is a disengaged tool missing.
I think it was probably unnecessary for Viper to self-ult there. All the other threats were so far away. He twitches it, but it means doesn't have now.
Trouble. A lot of damage. Rookie's getting the poke down. JackeyLove into the pit, gets the Kayle ult, will not die, but sure as hell Griffin will. Lehends has to run away, the last to stay alive. The delivery system again works, and IG are gonna walk it into the Nexus. The second seed out of their group, the defending world champions, are here to play. And the next will fall in a 2-0 lead in the series.
Cannot help but just applaud IG for the last 17 minutes of that game. Knowing that they did double kleptomancy solo lanes, that they had the Kayle, that they were down early and just needed to wait for a Griffin mistake, which so rarely comes, is what IG were able to do. And once they had that advantage, they just ran it down against Griffin.
It was grit and determination from behind, and then actually being pretty understanding of their own flaws. The Shy didn't say, hey, wait, I can use 3 Mountain Drakes to split push, don't get caught. He said, let's team fight. YOLO, whatever.
Easy.
We can team fight and we can win with it. And they were correct in that assertion. It allows them to close up a come-from-behind second game. And now Griffin really will have that little voice in their head saying, really, again in a best of 5.
This is Griffin. Griffin joined the LCK summer split last year. They have won a best of 5. They won an LCK semifinal, and that is it. They have never come in clutch when it matters, unless you want to count Kespa Cup, unless you want to count the promotion tournament.
I don't,
yeah.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, so 1 best of 5, and here they are. They look so good. They clapped G2 twice in a row. The best week 2 group stage we have ever seen, and in the best of 5, they cannot come up.
Here's what I'll say. They definitely haven't been as good as they were a few days ago, but this is not them choking. This is just IG playing better than them in a lot of different spots, especially in game number 2.
I think it's a combination of both. I think it's IG showing a ton of poise in these games, but also some of the things that Viper was doing in that game, not ideal.
Yeah.
The early ultimate, just not having the correct positioning around fights. So Griffin, they have to find some way of gathering themselves. Otherwise, this is going to be a sweep.
They're going to need to reverse sweep this one. We'll see if they can do it, but Invictus Gaming are 1 win away from semifinals. As you gear up for match point in Madrid, don't go anywhere. Viper can do so much. Here comes the charm. Kayle ults on top, and it is a single kill. And Rakan with the Q finds that first kill. Chovy's inside the pit, forced away. Ning gonna jump back to his squad. 4K health. The Shy in the backline. He twitches it, but he doesn't have now. A lot of damage. Rakan's getting the poke down. JackeyLove into the pit. Gets the kill. Will not die. The second seed out of their group. The defending world champions are here to play.
So you want to go get that coffee then?
Yeah. Whoa. Ow.
So you want to go get that coffee then?
Yeah, just gonna take my headphones off and we're good. Let's go.
The new Oppo Reno 2 quad camera. Zoom into imagination.